Next episode of the podcast here is episode 20 with Jungle Gyms, a.k.a. Jungle. We went down to his store and his studio. We had Mark, who's the #1 comedian, voted the #1 comedian in Cincinnati, who works at Jungle Gyms and does the Jungle Gym podcast and some other creative things at Jungle Gyms on the podcast. We had Billy Southerland, who is an old friend of Jungle Gyms, and we all just kind of came together, did a podcast. There wasn't a lot of family business necessarily in the podcast, although we did touch on it quite a bit, but a great story about how Jungle Gym started, and we got into some other topics as well, and it was probably one of the best podcasts we've done. So episode 20 with Jungle Gyms.
I remember when I was a little kid, and we had a gym, and the boys were on one side, the girls on the other, and the music started playing. Yeah. And I wanted to dance, little kid, right? And well, I got to walk across that gym. I'm going to do it. None of the other kids, I'm going to do it. I walked across that gym and asked the girl to dance. You know what she said? No. You know how far it was walking? You know how that gym was long, man.
It's like the hallway that never ends.
I know.
I'll never get back to my
Walk
body.
of shame, that's what it is.
And that's what I mean, the sting of battle. These young kids, they take away the sting. They get there with their thing, and they go through all the preliminaries, and they make sure the waters are calm before they dive in. That's not fun.
They're
That's
qualified.
not life.
Yeah.
Life is you get whacked, you come back, you get whacked. Hey, that's life.
And you grow back. That's the
And you grow
important
back,
part. Yeah.
Grow back.
And you find out that's what life's about. Now they got all these things. Oh, you want this, want that, oh, this shit. What do you think? And you go to all this stuff before you make the initial,
Yeah, afraid to fall.
Yeah. Anyway, the podcast. Let me tell you, the podcast started. Billy called me up. He goes, "You want to be on my podcast?" I said, "I don't know what it is. What is it?" He goes, told me. I said, "What do I do?" He says, "You're going to come over and bullshit." I said, "I could do that." So we sat down. Josie sat in the corner. We sat down there. We did a podcast. So then I said, "What happens now?" He goes, "Well, I'll show it." I said, "Well, let me know what happens." And he goes, "Man, you got good ratings." I says, "Shit." I said, "Do it again just for the heck of it because, new broom sweeps clean, I never do anything. So when I do stuff, I says, do it again just to see what happens, see what the next one's like. And the next one did okay. So then I looked on YouTube, and I'm flipping around the podcast on YouTube, and I say, everybody had it in the basement, they had it in their closet, you know what I mean? I'm thinking, what happens if I design it and I make it look like a studio and bring it out in front of the public? Market it. In other words, if you want to sell corn, you don't sell it in your basement, you put it out in the middle of traffic, right?
That helps.
So that's what we did. So we built this thing and we interviewed this crazy guy here. And thank God the two came together, the crazy area and him. So they really came together, very positive. One wouldn't have done it without the other. And then you could build.
Agreed.
It's like a cake. I could build the craziest looking cake there is, and you might bring it to the neighborhood, and everybody sits down, and everybody's going, "Oh my God, Jungle, look at that cake!" All of a sudden, you cut it, it's like crap, right? So they have to come together, the design and everything. But I'm lucky enough that this guy's crazy as this place is, and he's running with it. So that's how that's how this stuff came about. So
Now they're crushing it.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're crushing it. You got the #1 comedian in Cincinnati sitting here.
Yeah, then he goes, it took me 25 years. I didn't know I was going to get my break in a grocery store. my fame is going to come in a grocery store. Who knew?
Wait till you get his idea. That whole Allie and Maddie, the noodling.
Oh, that's going to be
stuff.
amazing. Yeah. I'm
telling
going.
you, the girls with the wine tasting and then the noodling, that's got to be a part of your gig.
Hoist
That
lady,
was
Allie
a great
from-
idea.
Yeah. Billy was just sort of feeding me that right before we started. I'm like, I'm in. I'll put my hand in a catfish, whatever it takes.
Yeah, he's the right one.
Yes.
Yeah.
It may or may not be a catfish.
No,
You'll be
he's okay.
fine.
That's fine. Yeah, listen.
He jumped in a bathtub
the right
of
one.
noodles
Yeah.
to get attention.
Yeah,
he'll do
we're-
anything.
Bathtub of noodles.
It was in Gold Star Chili. We did 25 gallons of right where Jungle's sitting. There was a bathtub and everything. And we did a
Really?
whole episode
Were you
live from
hungry?
it. Not afterwards.
Have you had it since?
Like a few times. You know, I thought it was going to be worse. I thought it was going to take a lot more, but it was like one solid shower and it was back to normal. I was almost a little let down. Like I get out of the shower like, so it's all over?
It's all anticlimactic.
My skin had never felt so good though for a week. I was like, oh, maybe I'm missing out. It's just
I don't know.
chilly.
I don't know why you do such crazy shit.
Yeah, it's coming from him. Coming from this guy. What?
I mean, if I'm answering seriously, my answer is that, you know, I wasn't from Cincinnati originally, and I wanted to work in entertainment my whole career, and I did okay, and especially being in a place that wasn't really known for it. But I gotta say, I mean, it's weirder when he's in the room to say it like this, but like, you know, when I first got here, there weren't a lot of people doing interesting stuff in Cincinnati in like the early 90s. But then you go to a place like this, and you're like, oh, this is like an artist opened a grocery store. I'm like, I'm interested in this. And it kind of gave me the confidence to just, I mean, you know, I guess I am weird, but I'm like, just to be myself and try this stuff. So I don't know.
You know what? Thinking about your podcast and like thinking about family businesses and what it takes, like his story about the dance and the apps, that tells the whole story. His perspective on life was you get whacked and you get up and you do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many ideas have you had gone bad? This one worked out.
Yeah, this one worked out. That whole thing right there, you see that right there? That's a mistake. I built that was a greenhouse. I spent a ton of money on that thing because I had a guy with me that says, man, I'm gonna get in the greenhouse business. I said, that's what we do around here. We back people. I back this guy, I back people. Yeah. So I had this guy. So I built this, that's a greenhouse. It was a beautiful big greenhouse.
Here's your guys with your idea, by the way.
And then
right
it
there.
didn't work out, so then we made it toys. So a lot of, you make, you know, it's, you change, you make mistakes. You go.
It's like the archetypical story of a visionary. You have an idea, it falls apart, you change it, you pivot, and it works out.
Right.
I mean, that's
Right.
that's what visionaries
Somebody
do.
told me that if you have enough money, you could get rid of all your mistakes.
Was that Clinton by chance? Is that-
Knock on wood, right? You know, yeah, like I said, I don't know why you do such crazy shit, right?
I think,
I
honestly,
want to show you something.
I'm so excited.
I'm gonna show you.
I'll take mine off too.
Hey,
Let's go,
time out.
baby.
I'm going to show you. See?
This is, Ben, what do you think?
See what that?
Yeah?
See what it says? Avatar.
Oh, we're
Avatar.
prepared. Did we watch the movie?
Heck,
Was that from the movie?
What'd you
No,
do in
it's from-
Nashville
Okay.
this
No,
weekend?
I went and saw my grandchildren over there. I did something crazy. My grandchildren said, where'd you get that? Where'd you get that? I said, out of Frosted Flakes box.
I feel regret that I don't have
knew
that.
you were
I
bored.
read the directions and I said, I don't have any of these things on me.
Avatar.
You know, I'm thinking, what do I do? I read the directions, stick it on there. Then you get a wet cloth. I'm up in the up the stairs in our house, and I said, "Where's the wet cloth?" I said, "Oh, just got that, get it all wet, put it on there," and it worked. Then my wife goes up to go to bed. You know, she's up there. She goes, "How come the towels are all wet?"
And blue.
All right, so I'm getting Frosted Flakes today. That's what I'm hearing.
Frosted Flakes.
All right, so we want to talk about.
Well, I mean, let's talk a little bit about the origin story of Jungle Jim's Jungle, just like how you got to kind of like this point, the beginning days.
I don't know, man. Side of the road. I mean, it was. You go back, and I mean, it's just nuts. I mean, you know, started out with a van. I started out with a van, a baby scale, and a pile of bags.
That's awesome.
Sat on the corner by the grocery store selling tomatoes. Picked up tomatoes instead of going to. I was at Miami University instead of. By the way, at Miami University, at my Hume, I was proud of this. They threw you out of school at 1.7, all right?
Yeah.
1.72, they couldn't touch me.
I wish I'd known you when they were asking me to
you know
leave
what?
Indiana.
I'm going through, you know how my
Had a whole extra point.
you know, my mom passed away, and I'm looking at all the stuff that she left, and I'm thinking, you know, these kids don't want all this stuff. So I'm going through my box, you know, so I'm thinking, all my old girlfriend letters.
Yeah.
I
Love
threw
it.
them away. Who wants them, right? You know, so I threw stuff away, and you know, and then I'm thinking about how I started, and it was ridiculous back then. It was ridiculous. I mean, Start on the side of the road, and then it's easy. Not easy, You went and bought stuff at the what do you call it, down
Bottoms,
south,
right?
Yeah, over there by the bottoms where the stadiums are. You go there. As I had a little stand, nothing. And you go there, you buy the stuff, you bring it back, you sell it. If you make a little bit, you go back in. Then you go back every day, 6 days a week, 4 in the morning. I drive down there, buy the stuff, sell the stuff on the side of the road. Little stands, I don't know. Then I would go to these people that own these corner lots that were empty. And I'd say, hey, you're not using it. And sometimes when you meet people in business that started from the bottom, there's a certain, they don't know you, but they know you. You know what I mean? Sure. They give you a break.
Yeah.
I mean, not a big break. They're not going to go, give you a bunch of money, but they give you a little break.
You can set up here.
Yeah,
They've been there.
So I would go to them. I'd say, hey, you're not using it. I'm college. I'm just out of college. I'll sit on. I won't bother anything. I put my little stand up. You tell me to get out, I'll get out. And usually most of them let me stay this summer.
Where was the jungle?
Yeah, we lived. People ask me. They say, when you started out, what was the one thing that was the worst? Competition. Competition. I'm sitting on a corner. Competition.
Right.
You know what I mean? But taking a shower. It was a bitch. Taking a shower is the worst thing.
Yeah.
When we rented a gas station in Marymount. You know what? It's funny. What's next to Marymount?
Madisonville?
What?
Indian Hill?
No, the other one.
Madisonville?
Right next.
Madeira.
Is it Madeira? No, right next to Marymount. There's another. I can't remember.
You go down 50 there.
Anyway, when people say you're from Marymount, hey, you weren't from Marymount, you were from so-and-so. I was right on the border.
Oh, okay.
It's like I didn't want to mention the other name. I mean, what are you talking about? I didn't even know where the hell I was. Somebody would say Cincinnati. I don't know what you're talking about, right? So, yeah. So anyway, we rented a gas station. It was an old Sunoco gas station. And I figured I'd put a stand out in front, right? So we built a lean-to, 2x4 lean-to, and we lived in a gas station. Now, don't forget, you're young. You don't give a shit. I mean, you don't think like you do now. I mean, we had then the people from Miami University. They said, "Oh, what are you going to do?" I says, "I'm up a fruit market." One guy goes, "I'm marketing. You need me? Marketing?" I says, "Well, yeah, I need marketing. Yeah, I can't pay you." "Oh no, that's okay." Then one guy goes, "You need an accountant, right?" I says, yeah, sure. No pay.
Right.
So we all go live in this gas station. All right? Wasn't that bad. People said it wasn't that bad. Where you work on the cars, right? We got a refrigerator, you plugged it in, we got a stove, propane tank, got an old table.
Yeah.
Of course, with the marketing and the accounting, came girlfriends.
Of course.
I mean, of course,
The only reason any of us got into this.
Yeah, I mean, so there I was with all these people and living in a gas station.
That's awesome.
So where do you take a shower?
I didn't even know.
You have remember the old stations, you used to walk around the back?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they had the bathrooms in the back, right? So I figured, I went in the back, I looked at them, I said, well, this is a really nice one. Ripped out the toilet, put a shower head in it, and that was the shower.
Nice.
Yeah. The only trouble was in the winter, it was a bitch because you had to run from the back of the thing, taking a shower out of the front.
Unbelievable.
Like
Yeah,
freezing up on the way.
But that worked. That worked.
So the accountant
Yeah.
and the marketing, you were dating them both?
No, they came with their own. I had my own. So then we went to Miami University, had a sale, they had bunk beds. And we put like 4 of them. I mean, the person on top, you make a mistake, you die.
Yeah, right.
It's over.
I mean, you make a mistake, baby. I mean, you had to be young to climb up there.
Oh my God.
So what would you
No,
call
it-
that? A
it-
double bunk bed?
4.
Yeah, so we're
Quad-
talking
quad- quad bed?
Quad bed.
It's high dive.
You know,
High dive.
You're on a high dive.
Jungle had a little pool right next to it just in case.
no, it was fun. It was okay.
That sounds awesome.
How cool.
It was all right. And we stayed there. And I thought Marymount and Cincinnati, man, I says, ooh, that's going to be the market.
Yeah.
Where the population is, right? And then I, for some reason, I had a little market over here, Erie and High, and I told those guys, you guys run this and I'll go to Erie and High. I take my truck and my junk truck and go to Erie and High. And that turned out to be the better to stand was Erie and High. All it was a little trailer and a lean-to, just nothing.
Simple.
What made you think about Fruit Market?
Fruit market?
Yeah.
Well, because fruit market business is a poor man's business. Now, I would have really liked my dad to have a couple like, Holiday Inns or something, or maybe Burger Kings, and said, son, I mean, you want to run these? I would have much preferred that.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But, another poor man's business is landscaping.
Yeah.
What do you need? You need a pickup, a wheelbarrow, shovel, and a rake. And if you got the Corleones, you go out there, do a couple jobs, and do this, bust your ass, work your ass off. Then the neighbor sees it, maybe you get another job. Before you know it, you buy a little. That's what the produce business is like. That's why when all the immigrants came from over there, they all got into peddling stuff. You
Right.
buy it, you peddle it, you buy it, you peddle it. All you need is a little. Yeah, so that's why I got into business. It's a poor man's business. I had nothing. What are you going to start with? What are you going to do?
Yeah. You just bust out that work ethic instead. You got that. You know what I mean? The drive and the energy to succeed.
I used to look at these other guys that had bigger markets, and I say, you know what? You guys know the business. I says, but I'll work you. I said, when you guys are sleeping, I'll be working.
Yeah.
And I remember my mom used to come down and help me with my market, and she told me, she goes, Jim, you can't put the oranges next to the onions. I says, why not? She goes, I said, Mom, you arrange the stand. I didn't even know I had no idea what I was doing. No idea. I learned as So anyway, let me get back to the gas station. So anyway.
That's the good stuff, though.
So I got
the
this accountant, right, and everything. You know what they do at Miami University? They learn, they send out for all this stuff, workers' comp, whatever they do. Big pop of stuff. So I went up to him. I said, I need $10 for gas, $20 for gas. He goes, man. He says, things are tough. I says, they're tough. I said, I need $20. I said, you know what, guys? This marketing, this accounting stuff. I said, you guys take your degrees. I said, you need to find something to do. This ain't it, right? So I said, what do I do with this pile of stuff? So I looked, and across the street, there was an accounting company across the street, a bookkeeping. Where it was that big Frisch's, that big monster Frisch's over there at Mariama?
Now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
right there was my stand, right?
Yeah.
A block down
Yeah.
the thing. It was a gas station.
No kidding.
Yeah, that was right. So I said, he's bookkeeper, right, across
Yeah.
the street. I got that pile of stuff. Knocked on his door, walked in. He said, can I help you? I says, yeah. I says, I got a sad thing. He goes, what? I says, you see this guy? He died. I says, so whatever you got. I says, the poor guy died. I says, so whatever you got to do, send it wherever the hell you got to do. Let me know. Send all this stuff back and just tell him that man is dead. Passed away. It's a sad thing, but he's gone.
Hey, Ryan, told you.
So then my accounting system was LIFO, FIFO. It was you guys ever remember when you had the old nail aprons? You get the nail aprons. They got two pockets.
Okay. Oh,
Right.
okay. Yeah.
The money went in here. The money went out. Whatever was left was mine.
Cool.
Things started working out better. LIFO, FIFO, baby. What do I have? That's mine.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. No, that was good. No, we just
Wait,
started.
how long did your mom run her flower shop?
Oh, my mom ran the flower shop a long time. Shit. My mother was business, man. I grew up, you guys don't know this stuff, but the old Italians, wife doesn't work.
Right.
If the wife works, then it's, all the guys look at him, hey, can't you take care of your wife?
Right.
So my mom didn't work. But my mom was business, bubbled out of her. I mean, right? So the only thing she could do is take it out on me, right?
Right.
Yeah. I was the only 8-year-old with a red wagon had business cards.
I love that.
How
No,
cool is that?
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I didn't know growing up, see. So if my mom worked through the kids, it was cool. As long as she, I know this sounds terrible. My dad was a great guy, great father, great. But this was the times.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
and I grew up and I said, you know, I'm not going to be that way. I'm going to back my wife. No matter what she wants to do, I'm going to be there for her, you know. But back then, man, it was
Different
It was
story.
different.
For sure. Yeah, different world.
Lorraine.
Yeah. So my mom would demonstrate in the grocery stores that was okay, part-time grocery store. She would be a demo person, right? So that was okay, but she couldn't.
Now it's starting to come together for me.
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
She couldn't really take a job or nothing like that.
Isn't that crazy?
And I mean, really, I
Yeah.
mean, that was the time. And my dad, he would get done with he worked at the steel mill, and he'd get done at 3:30, 4 o'clock, walk up. My mother would had a lunch pail set again, and he would go pound nails. He would go work second job
Yeah.
in order so she could stay home.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's wild how time does change like that, though.
Yeah,
definitely.
things change. Now these young women got to watch themselves. Guy moves in, she works, and he's sitting on his ass
Yeah.
watching TV, drinking beer.
It's crazy.
I mean, really, these
No, I
young
know,
girls
I know.
got to be careful.
I know a lot of those guys,
You
unfortunately.
know what I mean? I tell them, I tell these young girls working for me, I'll tell you the same thing I told my daughter. I said, you know, if you can start going with a guy, you get a little, they want to get together, mess around a little bit.
Yeah.
I tell her, I says, yeah, mess around a little
I mean,
bit.
hey.
I tell her, you know what I tell her? I says, you know this guy, before you go any further, you know what he should show you? She goes, what? His W-2. See that first before you go play around. You know?
So
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. I have 3 daughters as
Yeah.
well. So.
Make sure you see his W-2.
Yeah, write that
man.
down,
Yeah,
man.
See that W2.
No, I mean, really, things have
Tax
changed. In the old
return,
days, the
you know?
guys had a lot of pride. They wouldn't do that.
Right.
I would never move in with a woman.
It's like
If I moved in with a woman, me,
yeah.
I'd sit down and say, okay, here's the deal. Where's the expenses? I'm paying my half no matter what.
Of course.
No matter what. You want me to be there? That's fine. It works out okay. You got a nice bed. I'm okay with it.
Sure.
But, man, I'm splitting right down the middle.
Yeah.
I don't know how that all changed so quick. It doesn't seem that long ago. Because I know exactly. I mean, I feel I've built the same way, but I don't know how quickly that became the way of life for so many people.
Yeah. You made a good comment about the pride thing. I think so many people have kind of lost their sense of that.
I guess
a little
that's
bit.
it.
Like, I don't know. I think I'm in that good pocket of just old enough to have missed whatever the change was. Because like I've been always that way too, where I'm like, okay, work, provide at least my half, if not more. You know what I mean? Like, it's just,
Yeah.
I don't get it, but hey, I still have plenty of time for drinking beer and watching TV. It's amazing.
Speak easy, baby. Speak
Yeah,
easy.
exactly. Listen, I'm
You
trying
need
to
to
speak
call
easy.
him.
I just texted him right before we started this. I was like, "Hello, Fred. I'll be over this evening."
Are you going to go over?
I'm gonna try to. Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah. Let me know. I'll let you know for sure. I
Yeah,
turned my
text
phone
me.
off for the interview, so
What?
we're going bourbon hopping later.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
A guy
yeah.
said, speak easy. He said he wants to learn how to drink bourbon. I
And he's
said,
like
I know-
right down the street from
I
my
know
house.
a guy.
Yeah, I was like, of course Billy knows a guy.
And he says, come over tonight.
We'll see. I was kind of being cute about
He's
it,
a-
but we'll see.
Yeah, he's
That's the type of place I'll freeload. Okay, I'll move into the speakeasy. I'm not paying shit.
he's a good guy.
Okay.
That's so your mom volunteered at the grocery store.
No, she didn't volunteer. She made money. And then she would turn around and they would say, you got to sell so many pounds of sausage, right?
Right.
Well, then she would conjure up all different things. She'd go home. She'd make the sausage a certain way. So she'd get in there. Instead of 2 days, it'd only take her 1 day and she'd get the same amount of money.
That's awesome.
Now
Oh, my mother was
now-
business.
now I get it.
business.
I love it.
So you learned a lot from your mom when it comes to like how
Yeah,
store
I was very,
layout and-
very fortunate. It was amazing. When I was in different businesses all the time. And every time I would get into something, my mother would be right there for me. Then she'd, bribe my sister to help because my sister was 5 years younger. So, and then my dad would help. So really, anything I did,
Talk about a family business.
Yeah.
Anything I did,
Right there's where
they're
it
right
started.
there. I mean, it was weird, but that was what.
What were some things you did, like when you're the 8-year-old with business cards? What services were you doing back
I
then?
knock on, oh, here's one time. So I knock on doors and I just say, hey, you need anything done? I pull weeds, I sweep, whatever, a kid. So sometimes they would just tell me, go do this, and they give me 50 cents or a quarter, One time I go over this house. It was on a corner where I lived, right? Brick house. That was like a big thing. Brick was more expensive than wood, so they maybe had some money, you know what I mean? So I knocked on the door, and the woman said to me, she goes, the trees in the back, go around the trees in the back and pull the weeds. And I had one of those weed things, the thing, and you don't have to be that old to know how to pull weed. Take the thing, you pull it in, take the thing, and throw it away, right?
Of course, yeah.
So I'm pulling weeds back there and pulling weeds, and I looked, and the picture window of the house was over there, and these kids, there must have been their kids. They're watching me pull weeds, right? And I'm waving at them, and I'm working. I'm working away, and the father came home, I guess.
Oh, boy.
And next thing I know, the woman walked out of the house and said, you have to leave. And I looked at her, and I don't know what she gave me, maybe a quarter or something. She goes, my husband said, if there's any work to be done in the yard, those kids should do it, not you. And she told me to leave. In my little red wagon and took off.
Good dad.
Yeah. Still got a little
Yeah.
little cheese out of it too. I like
Yeah.
this story. Yeah.
That's
Still the
wild,
apron.
jungle.
Hey, I'll tell you another thing, making money. I used to have all these businesses. So, way back when my buddy was in California messing around, I think it was in college. It must have been my first year in college. Anyway, he came in from California, and he was going to Baltimore. I don't know where he was going. He stopped over, and his name was Sonny, and he says, you know what they're doing over in California? I says, no, what are they doing? He says, they're painting addresses on curbs. I said, what do you mean? Painting addresses on curbs. He told me, I'm going, ooh. Every time I hear something, it always goes ka-ting, ka-ting, because that's, my mom trained me that way.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell's this?
Yeah.
Right? So, we did it different, all right? Now, you guys ever see anybody painting curbs? The dress on curbs? They do the white background first, right? Then they let the background, then I didn't do that. What I did was, went out, and you guys remember the old steps. If you go, you get these old wooden steps in the basement. They have a piece of rubber that curves, and they nail them on the steps. So you could, the black piece of rubber, it's about this thick right. So I went and got a couple of those. I got a knife, cut the curved part, and I ended up with a piece of rubber this big. Got some stencils, 1, 2, 3, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I got a knife, and I made a stencil thing, rubber, right? Got spray cans, right? Then I went to the mayor, Lorraine, and I said, I'm going to paint all the curbs in Lorraine free. I says, it'd be good. I says, the policemen drive down, fire department, whatever, friends, boom.
Yeah.
They just drive down. All I got to do is look at the curb, right? I said, I'm going to do it free. I says, when I get done, I'll put a little piece of paper on the door, say, college kids donation, right? I said, you get permission. He goes, yeah, I'll get you permission. I said, good. So we painted, I had my sister and her girlfriend are like 8, whatever, 9, no, 12, 13. Right?
You're going to college.
Right.
Yeah.
I was in college. So, man, as fast as they could walk. Now, don't forget, you got the stencil. You see the dress, you shake up the paint, you spray it, boom, you're on to the next one, right?
Yeah.
We'd paint 400 houses. They would go down, down, back, down, back, down, back. We paid 400 houses. I mean, it sounds like a lot, but there's 4 people painting. I mean,
Sure.
as fast as you could walk, you could paint, right? So then, I still have the piece of paper upstairs. I kept it. So then we went on and we put a piece of paper on everybody's door. It says, a bunch of college kids doing this. It's good for the police department, fire department, friends, blah, blah, blah. Please fold your donation on the door, tape it to the door, and at 6 o'clock, there's going to be some college kids that are going to go pick up the donation. So at 6 o'clock, me and my sister had a shopping bag, and I would just go and then pick up the money off the door. All right? We'd average 50 cents a house, that's $200.
Yeah.
Minimum wage back then was $1.
You're doing all right.
You ain't
Killing
kidding.
it.
Do the math. Do the math
I was
on the
making
time.
big.
Yeah, it's
you know,
amazing.
That's
so
unbelievable.
So when I tell this story, people look at me and say, well, what'd you do when there was nothing on the door? I said, what the hell do you think I did? I knocked. I mean, what a dumbass. What a dumbass question. What do you think I did? Oh, I looked and kept on going. I knocked. They'd be
I rest my case.
yeah, they'd be eating and all of a sudden, honey, they'd be eating, I'd see them, eating all of a sudden, hi, honey. Hey, those college kids, give them a little something, right?
Yeah.
I knocked.
Yeah, knocked.
Awesome.
That should,
Yeah,
be
right.
that should be the title of the book that
I
somebody
knocked.
writes about him.
You know?
I'm not
That was
kidding.
a good business, man.
not
We
kidding.
painted
That-
the whole damn city.
I bet.
$200.
I bet they love that too.
I loved it.
Yeah,
I don't know about
shit.
that. So then my old man, my old man never liked everything I get into because he'd always say, I'll get you a job at the National Tube, stop screwing around the neighborhood. The neighbor's looking at me funny because you're always going door to door with everything. He'd tell me, stay out of the neighborhood, go over 5 streets. So you're embarrassed. He said, you're embarrassing me. Because I was always going door to door.
What'd you say to Oscar?
What?
What'd you say?
I kept on going. I kept going. That was painting curbs, man. That was a good business.
Yeah.
So then before that, when I was real small, I would go to the creek. We'd go play around the creek, And that's another thing we talk about. Me and my wife was talking about it. The difference between raising kids now and
Yeah.
you get up in the morning, you go find something to do. You played in the yard, you got your buddy. Then lunchtime, you come in, you ate, and you were back out. You 6 o'clock, lights go down, you're at.
Right.
Now parents entertain their kids. I'm over my kids. I mean, it's like they entertain the kids like with centers around the kid. Take them here, take them here, take them here. Blah, blah, blah. It's amazing.
Yeah.
We used to, play army. You do this, you do that. Had your own thing, make believe, get crap, do something.
Right.
Now the parents take them here, and this and that. And this. I mean, what's going to happen today? Well, what's the kids? We got to do the kids. We're centers around the kids. I think back then it was like the parents had work to do, and the kids find something to do.
Right. It probably engaged their creativity a lot more now too than I'm sure that it is these days.
You ain't kidding because
Yeah.
you had nothing to do.
Just stole from them.
Right.
So you're stealing from them now. You steal their ability to go out and create and be and.
I lived a block away, and it was like a strip centers, not big, but on a corner. And I would go in their junk in the back. One was a carpet place, and they had these big spools of cardboard, the wrap.
Oh, yeah.
And I'd get those things, bring them back. I had a little saw, I'd cut them up, make stuff out of them.
Yeah.
You did stuff to keep yourself busy. And a lot of it hinges upon being creative, making stuff out of nothing, going down and playing with. So anyway, I go to the creek and I'm getting these apples, right? I see an apple tree in the creek, by the creek. So I'm picking these apples, green apples like this. I said, I bring them home,
Yeah.
get a little baskets, get them on my red wagon. I start going door to door. I never forget it. 2 doors down was Mrs. Queen. She was a Southern girl. She was real small, right?
Yeah.
Her husband was Mr. Queen. He was big, right? So she goes.
I know a little something about that.
So she goes, well, how much are they? She goes, what are they? I says, they're pie apples. Those are pie apples. And I said, how much are they? I said, 10 cents a basket. So she buys a basket, right? Next day she calls my mom. She goes, what kind of apples were they? I made a pie of them, and Mr. Queen hasn't left the bathroom. I didn't know crab apples. I don't know what the hell they were. They were big green apples, this big. I don't know. What do you do with apples? Make a pie. They're tart. Make a pie out of it.
What
Make
else
it a
did
little
you,
longer, Mrs. Queen.
what else did you put in that pie, Mrs. Queen? Or you mad at Mr. Queen?
Certainly wasn't them apples.
No, she said, give me 5 more.
No, really.
That's what I thought it was gonna be.
And my
Apples
mom would
are
have to
awesome.
say, they're crab apples.
Crab apples.
And then one time I went to the creek and I got a bunch of cattails. No cattails?
Oh, yeah.
Picked them, and I sold them for a penny. And I told people you let them dry out, then you light them, and you stick them around your deck, and they keep the mosquitoes away.
Oh, of course.
So that's why my dad used to say, get away from, you go five streets, get away
Go
from here.
5
The neighbors
streets,
are
yeah.
all talking.
No online reviews at that
You
point.
can
for the-
learn from the work ethic, but you can't learn from, that's just a gift.
Yeah, it's instinctual.
it's
right?
instinctual.
It's like picking
Yeah.
people's flowers out of their yard and selling it to them. Like,
Yeah.
it's
As soon as
the
I
same
see
thing.
something, right away I go, what can I do with this?
Yeah, right.
I think a lot of like we were talking about kids and creativity, and nowadays is different. And like when me and my brother were growing up, we were like, I legitimately thought we were gonna dig to China. Like I thought we were gonna make it. Like
Yeah.
You were on your way.
were like a couple more days, man, and we're gonna be in China. Like it's not gonna be much longer. Like this is so big.
How old were you, Ben?
I mean, I was probably 10,
right.
11, you know. I
31.
didn't understand.
That's what I was looking for. It's been 2 or 3 years.
I mean, geez, I didn't know there was a mantle and a core we had to go through. I thought China was right there. I didn't know. They said there's molten lava in the center of the earth.
Hey, you're hot.
So, but like, yeah, we would, play a lot, and you can have a lot of fun with some dirt and rock piles in the middle of nowhere. Like,
How far down did you get?
it was probably like 4 foot, but when you're
And
like
that was
two-
big.
Yeah, I mean, it was like to the bottom of the shovel at least.
Yeah, you create a great fort with that. We used to put
So,
boards
but then
over top of them. That was our fort.
Dad would be working on it. He'd come home and be like, "What the hell is this?"
My front yard.
I remember we built a fort one time with some straw bales, and he had this barrel, and we took it apart and we made it for like some nice, deflectors. We were shooting marshmallows at each other and BB guns, and he comes back and he's like, "What did you do with my barrel?" We're like, I mean, we were shooting at each other, like the BBs. You needed some protection.
You needed a shield.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that kind of came with some ass whoopings, but it was worth it, I think.
I think your parents are real important. I mean, that's everything. How you're raised, I don't think you have to entertain them. I don't think you have to do what they're doing now at all. But you have to be there. Be there.
Yeah. What's a real problem to be present right now? A lot of people are on their phones a lot and distracted, and to be present with your kids is
Just be in the house.
yeah.
I mean, that's the issue. But there's more single homes than.
Well, yeah.
If you track that stats on that, there's the issue.
That's number one.
Yep.
That's number one. You got these young kids, you knock on the door, you got a 10-year-old, 12-year-old, or where is that person? Where's your kids? They say they don't know. And then you ask them, when's the last time you met the teacher and had a teacher conference? And they never did that.
Right.
You got a problem.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. I mean, I was watching something on TV, and it was about, that was Tyler, about, he would, medium, about people would contact people, your relatives and stuff like this would want to meet him, right? And he was talking, there was this black lady and her brother, and she said something. She goes, we're on the streets, and we're getting into trouble. Well, she finally pulled away. I don't know what age it was. She pulled away, left Milwaukee and pulled away, and her brother didn't. But she said the thing in the beginning. She goes, we're on the streets, getting into trouble, but nobody told us we shouldn't be doing that.
I was watching a video the other day, and I can't remember who it was that was given the stats, but it was a black man talking about the difference between single-parent homes today versus, and I don't know if it was 50s or 60s, but 83% of the homes in the black family had two parents in, say, it was the 60s. Today, it flip-flopped.
Yep.
Wild.
And there's the issue.
Yep.
Yeah, well, the nuclear family's definitely like been under attack, you could say. I mean, it's all
is.
about tearing the family apart. And,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, it's a lot of negativity just in general. There's not a lot of positive voices, which is why I think it's important to like do podcasts and stuff, because there's just not a lot of positivity out in the world, and people who are positive generally are just quieter anyways.
Right.
So you need to do things like to spread that.
Yeah.
Even if you kind of don't want to. I think it's
a good
important.
point. Yeah,
It's
a great
easy to
point.
be negative in the face of these things, right?
For sure. Yeah.
The other way takes effort. But I think that's sort of a through line of this whole conversation, right? Where so much of this comes out of a place where like Jungle Success and a lot of other things you'll see comes out of this like willingness to take action, right? One way or another. It's like, oh, you want to earn? Guess what? You've got talents. You can go start a bit. You know what I mean? Like you can do all these things. I don't know. I'm right with you on that. In that I look at a lot of people lately and I just think like, man, if people just were willing to take, not just take a risk, but like just take some sort of action. I don't know. That's like how everything I've done in my life has been. I'm like, I didn't think I'd be Cincinnati's #1 comedian, as you mentioned earlier, Billy.
Which is awesome.
But like, I just went out there and just kept doing it forever for like 20 years.
You get
and then,
you get whacked.
yeah, exactly. I'm here for it.
You get up.
Yeah. And then you start back over. It's like, look, most of it's no's. But then you get a yes occasionally, and sometimes the yes is big. Like you said, I got my break at a grocery store. I love it.
I make 100 cold calls a week.
Yeah.
100 cold calls a week.
Yeah.
90% no's.
Sure. That's a good, but that 10% is where it all counts, you know?
You meet people like Ben.
Right.
And you deal with that rejection. And like you were saying, Jungle, if you walked across that gym, you know, you dealt with rejection. But if you're on your phone qualifying and only dealing with someone who you have a really good shot with,
Minutia
like you're
bull
never,
crap.
you're never gonna, you might not deal as much rejection as
You're
much.
always at no until you go find out, right? And like in Jungle's story, it's like she said no whether or not he went over there, but by going over there, he like, you know what I mean? But you had the option of a yes. Like there was there was that little gamble where it's as simple as that.
And
you know?
guess what? He turned around and the hallway looked. That was. I mean,
Twice
all of a
as
sudden
long.
it was like 15 miles to get back to the guys, but he survived.
Yeah.
And not only did he survive, he got stronger. It didn't
Yeah.
hurt that bad. I got over it.
People follow. That's a scary thing. A lot of people follow people. It's a scary thing. We see it in the store all the time, you know? Somebody
You were
says,
telling me that.
yeah. He says, you know, you have pile of corn, right? Now, Finley Market, they turn around, they take the corn, put it in a bag for you, right? Because they want to get rid of all. Maybe some of the corn's not filled out. It's not right. Big, small, boom, boom. Because they want to sell it all, right?
Right.
Me, I turned around and said, I don't want to spend the labor. Finley Market does. Pick out any corn you want. I even went further. And I said, we put 2 garbage cans on there, and people actually clean their corn and take exactly what they want
I
home.
love watching it. Yeah.
Reason why we do that is one of the reasons is you buy corn, you walk in there, you go boom, boom, bang, and walk out, right? You sit there and clean it. Next thing, 5 more people stop because they see you doing it. People follow people. It's scary in a way, but just like the birds. You ever watch the birds?
Oh, yeah.
You put out some food in and you see all these birds, and nobody's, you know, what's wrong with these birds? One bird flies down. Next thing, boom. People, man, we see it all the time. That's why we do with the corn. Because now you're going to spend 5 minutes jacking around with shucking your own corn.
That's amazing.
Meanwhile, everybody goes by, they start buying corn because they say, what's going on with that person? What's
Right.
they doing?
What's the line?
The corn's real nice and piled. Nobody's there. People keep on walking by.
Yeah, true. All right, you talk about the birds thing. This is always my favorite thing. So we grew up in New Jersey and near the beach, and growing up as a kid, you had like all the boardwalk food. And anytime somebody give you shit as a kid, my favorite move was to get some of the boardwalk French fries. You toss some fries at the villain, and like seagulls from miles away show up. It was great. It was like I didn't even I had my own entourage, right? You know, it's great. So if you're ever at the beach, you want to like ruin somebody's day, you know.
So
Grab some fries.
Yeah, a little French fries and the seagulls. Oh, they'll take care of it for you. So a lot of fond memories of bullies getting theirs thanks to a $3 box of French fries. You know?
Threw away French fries. French fries. I love French fries.
Me too,
I don't
but
know if I would have gave them.
yeah, I did. Listen,
You just
Jungle,
eat 'em yourself.
It was a tough.
mean,
You
I-
win that
I
way
like
too.
French fries.
You only throw half and you eat
I don't know if I
half.
would have given it to the birds. But no, that's good. Anyway, so what else we got? It's a bunch of. I mean,
Yeah, I got another question for you.
What?
So
Give me a question.
You got all this, visual, all this visionary things that you have here with, it's just so much different from a regular grocery store. Obviously, you differentiated. What's the word?
Differentiate.
Yeah.
There it is,
Yeah.
from the other ones, right? So when you have like these visions and you're thinking of how I'm going to put this together, like how many times do you not go with an idea that you're thinking?
well, I got that basement. I'm not going to go with it. I thought that'd be really cool.
I think we should. Listen. Whatever I can do to support that idea, I
think it'd be really cool, but I don't know about. I don't know.
so funny.
Like, how do you qualify? Like, hey, this is a good enough idea to just run with, or are you just
don't.
running,
I
just
just
running with ideas?
Just go.
Just go.
No, I think that. I know it sounds weird, but you ever see the energy where these people actually take the spoons and they can move them from your energy? See, I believe in that. I think if you believe in something really strong, I mean, real strong, your energy, it'd be like two salesmen.
Yeah.
They're both selling the same thing. One guy's lukewarm on it, the other guy really believes in his product. I think that energy, you take that and you just push it out there.
Yep.
I think a lot of things you just say, I'm not going to fail. It's not in the cards.
Right.
It ain't in the cards. I'm going to make this thing happen. That's it. Done. Forget it. It's gone. I'm making it.
It's conviction, intuition.
It's it. There's no bullshit about it. This is going to happen.
Just hit the gas and go.
Yeah. Even, everybody's saying it's crazy. I mean, obviously people call this crazy, right?
Yeah, this is crazy. When we did this, I was real excited about it.
Me too.
I wanted to figure out how to make it.
Me too. He's like, yeah, I got
Yeah, how to make this thing. How can we make this thing? So we put sound thing, then we got the middle on the outside. Like I said, how can I make the outside? I remember going to the hearing aid person, and she puts hearing aids, and you go in this little room, and it has this perforated sides of metal. You know what I mean? Whatever it is. I think, ooh, I got to put that on the outside to make it look like a booth or something.
Yeah.
So I get a kick out of it. I like doing this. I'm not into food that much. See, and that's a problem.
Yeah.
Because the food end of the store suffers because it's all my crazy ideas.
Yeah.
But so now,
A lot of people would be perplexed at that. They'd be like, should I talk about food? Should I just talk about what I want to talk about?
no, I don't like to talk about food. No, what I do is, what we do at Jungle Gyms is we hire people that have a passion for something and we back them. So we have a person that try wine and beer and stuff like this, and then we back them. That's what we do. That's what I do. I'm not a foodie at all. I eat pot pies, the cheap ones too.
Marie Calendar. Yeah, no, I'm ready.
Campbell's soup,
Yeah, classics.
Stuff like that. I'm really not a foodie at all. In fact, anytime we do tastings, I don't even want to be involved because my palate is not good. I mean, it's
Yeah.
so we hire all that out. I hire all that out. I find people that I like taking people's leftover stuff. I could tell you where all this stuff came from. This table, this came from one of those big department stores that had a sale and a closing sale. Then I go there when they're all done, and I get all the furniture and stuff like that. And what we got this. That's what this is. Probably came out of Elder Beerman's or someplace. Cool. We sprayed it black. Did this.
It's
Everything.
really nice.
came-
I like the setup with the
Yeah,
audio.
these
awesome?
big
That's
things.
awesome.
I don't know where the hell they came from. Some they donated those, and see those windows right there. You know what those are?
I do. but
Those
I
are
won't.
cooler doors.
Cooler doors.
Yeah,
Really?
you go shopping. You open up the freezer doors. That's what those are. Cooler doors. Everything's junk from someplace else. We have warehouses filled with it. What we do is the opposite. You come up with an idea, the architects sit there, they draw it up, they send it all out, have it all made, all comes back, right? When we do stuff, we do the opposite. We come up with an idea, we go in all our junk everywhere. We take what junk we have and say, hey, how can we make it out of the junk we have?
And you have like a fabrication.
Yeah, we have a
that
regular,
all
yeah,
in-house
guys
and-
right next door. They 5 guys. They work. We have a shop, and we work the wood, steel, build a. Now we have contractors that build a lot of the stuff, but then we do a lot of the stuff too. Yeah, that's what I like doing.
It depends on the need, I'm assuming, right?
Right now, we're opening up in the back. You'll see the new place we're opening up, and we're doing a. What's not India? What's the other country above India?
China?
Bangladesh,
No,
Nepal.
Nepal.
Nepal. Yeah,
Right.
nailed it.
Right. So I was junking, we junked around,
Yeah.
and I don't know where I got them from. I got a bunch of alligators, 7-foot alligators
Awesome.
made out of fiber.
Of course you do.
I don't know how I got them,
I
right?
love it.
So this guy's over there looking at all my junk, and he goes, man, I really like to have some of those alligators. I said, what do you want them for? He said, I'm going to build a jumbo restaurant, whatever, jumbo.
Yeah. Like Cajun food.
Yeah, Cajun.
Yeah.
He says, man, I'd really like to have those alligators to him. I says, yeah, what the hell do you have? So I went in his place, and he had these big tusks, as big as this room. Tusks, elephant tusks, fiberglass. I said, ooh, yeah. I said, I'll trade you some of those for some of those tusks, right? So now we're taking the tusks now, and when you go in the back of the store, in fact, that's where I just left, with the contractor talking about how we're going to put these tusks, and we're going to put a big shrine from
Oh, cool.
there behind an opening of that department.
That sounds beautiful.
Yeah, so
love it.
that's where I just left. Went over. I said I couldn't get here real quick. It was going over the contractor design for that thing.
Is this like? Did you do this like David Letterman? No, he used to keep his studio like 50 degrees.
I don't know what the hell's going on in here. I don't know.
Mark's hot.
See, I build this thing and then I just walk away from it. It's all
Go
here.
get him.
I turned it down
You're
a
not
little bit today. I was like, I
micromanaging.
don't know how many
I'm done.
cameras
I'm
will be
done.
in
Let's
here.
get
Yeah.
It's David Letterman.
Yeah, exactly. That was. You know what's funny is when I first got here, that's why I pitched a jungle. I was like, I just want to do Letterman in the grocery store. That was my move.
That's hilarious.
Stupid human tricks. I'm usually the stupid human. But
Hey, you know what else is happening right now? Women are kicking ass. You know that.
yeah,
In business and everywhere, they're kicking ass. They're taking the field, and it's like, I want to show you what I could do. They're taking the field.
yeah.
And a lot of the men,
Yeah. It's kind of wild to watch, isn't it?
well,
How do you know?
I know it. I could feel it. I see it. And you can't, I think about this. I don't care. You cannot take anything that's been the beginning of time when God was sitting in there and made man, Adam, right? Mm-hmm. He said, I got to get you made woman, secondary, right? And you go from the beginning of time, man was in charge. Now, a lot of countries, he still is.
Yeah.
You got to be like right now. We have so many international people working here. We got to be careful because you bring a woman supervisor over that. I mean, it's there big time.
Right.
You need
You
to
lose
know.
them. You lose them.
Well, it's
You put
not,
a woman over top of it.
It's like
you'll lose
culture
them.
shock, right?
No,
like,
I mean, but
just-
it's been so.
Yeah.
You name how many countries that are changing like we are. Maybe Germany, maybe the Western countries,
Right.
England, whatever. You can't have something from the beginning of time and then the last 20 years have it start changing and not have something happening.
Yeah.
And it is. It's happening inside the men. Right now, you can. It's like the weather. You can't have the weather one way and then have it start changing and not see. You had just we had a little dip, right?
Yeah.
Last winter, you had a little dip that was unusually cold.
Yeah.
How many bushes died and how many trees? I lost a lot of bushes.
Yeah,
and trees.
absolutely.
I'm down in Nashville. Whew. They had a cold spell down there. Man, you should see all the dead stuff down there. You can't have something change from this and not think there's going to be a underlying something.
Yeah.
And I think it's happening to a lot of the men. I mean, maybe they can't put their finger on it. I can't put my finger on it, but I know you can change something for thousands and thousands of years, and you have the women taking on more responsibilities. They're buying more houses. They're in universities, graduating more. You have a change. I'm saying it's good. I'm not saying it's bad.
No, of course.
Hey, we need players on the field.
Exactly.
We need players on the field.
Send me bodies, you know?
We need to win this game. And
Right.
Whoever takes the field, baby, let's go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That cracks you up about some of this I don't know what you want, race stuff or anything, about gays and this and that. Yeah, right. He hit a home run. Hey, yeah, but you know what? The guy's gay, man. I don't give a shit. Look at the scoreboard. I don't give a shit. The scoreboard's going around, baby. Oh, yeah, he just hit a home run. Yeah, but you know the guy's gay. Oh, yeah. Oh, shit, yeah. Yeah. Put him on the bench.
Right.
Point well made.
Dumbasses. You know what I mean? I'm here to win the game. I don't care.
Exactly.
Whoever takes the field makes it happen. That's it.
I want results.
Yeah, I want results, and that's whoever could deliver that. I'm all for it.
Exactly. It's what we love about you.
No, that's
Put them in the game.
it, baby.
So true.
Want the best people on the field I could possibly get, and I don't care who they are.
Right. I think that's what's so cool about this place. I mean, honestly, that kind of comes back around to what we were talking about before about like hiring all the experts. What I find so refreshing about coming through the store is that anybody at a certain level of employee, right? Like managers for sure, at least and above, right? They are so well versed in that field, and you'll meet all kinds. I mean, we speak something like 30 something languages in the store. I barely speak one. And it's wild to watch the communication go on, right, in that regard. And it's just, I don't know, it's just so fascinating to me to see, like, all these people, like, all different races, all different, like, ethnicities, creeds, you name it. Like, I'm sure there's very little overlap in, like, our interests even. But it's, like, wild to see because you're out here going, like, yo, we want this to be successful. We want somebody who's passionate and knowledgeable about a product. And this is that kind of place, too, where you, like, yeah, you want to go find something about beer? All right, go ask the beer buyer, and they're going to tell you maybe too much information. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I feel privileged to be one of the weirdos where I'm like, oh, thank you. Like, I mean, it's like obviously a level of respect, and trust and all that stuff.
Word spreads from international people.
Yeah.
Word spreads. And, I'm not saying other stores are racist at all. I'm not saying that.
Of course not.
But the level of just the warmthness,
Engagement.
the warmthness in the store or whatever it is.
Yeah.
The warmthness, not race, but the warmthness. And they could feel that.
Yeah.
And I've had people quit good jobs and come here because they feel the warmthness here.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying the other place was racist at all, but they just and they'll come here
Intentional about
because
it.
they feel, right. And you'll see a lot of them here, and believe me, they communicate.
Oh, sure.
It's good and it's bad, just like that funny phone you got, right?
Right.
It says I was shopping or I was doing this and I had a good experience, and it does this.
Exactly.
But it also does the opposite too. It goes both ways, that little thing.
Don't
Sure.
screw it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no more selling them cattails for burning to get rid of mosquitoes.
Yeah.
we got a
Back
special
then, now it's to this kid if he sells any crab apples door to door, man, don't buy them. I didn't have to worry about that.
Shut that down.
You're like, I'm not spending another dime on.
Nobody's going to talk to Mrs. Queen.
Exactly.
Mr. Queen can't get off the
They're
job.
applying to, like, sorry about your experience, Mrs. Queen.
Hey, think about
We will
that.
make sure we make that right.
Yeah, exactly. Here's 10 more apples.
Here's 10
Yeah,
more.
come on, I'll give you 10
Free of
more
charge.
apples.
And 2 baskets.
Think about the lady called you the other day. I called you from the hospital, or you called down there, and the nurse was from Senegal. Could you hear her? Because put on speaker. She talked. I didn't realize it at the time, but what she's talking about is the warmth that he's talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, she just lit up. I love Jungle Gyms.
Yeah.
She's been a nurse at Christ for 15 years.
Yeah.
You know how many people she's probably told?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, like to build a culture like that. I mean, that's what it is.
It takes time.
It's
It took a lot of time. It just didn't happen. You get 1, then you get 2, then you get 3. then you treat them. I mean, hey, I
Yeah.
treat them like everybody. If they don't work, but their culture's different. I mean, it's different. When you, good morning, how are you doing, means a lot to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it means
More
a lot to
so
everybody,
than-
too.
That means something to them. And then if you go out of your way and do something for them, just like we had one, and I don't know, the winds or something happened. Their house, electricity was off, and she was without
Oh,
a
yeah,
place.
yeah.
You know, it's great. She's fantastic. She does great for me.
Yeah.
It's not a charity deal.
No.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, one hand washes the other. She's took care of me,
Right.
right? So right away, I told Josie, I said, hey, she's out without a house or something like this. Find out what you could do. Get her a place. Go rent it. Do whatever you can. Help this girl out.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Well,
Yeah.
she's good. She one hand washes the other. She takes care of me. I take care of her.
But a lot of businesses they don't think like that. Like doing the right thing for someone is the right thing to do. Plus, it builds a culture, but they just don't think of it as one hand washing the other. It's just all about the business and not about the people. And a lot of places are like that.
Yeah, but people are business.
exactly. Yeah.
Without the people, you don't have any business.
Right.
There it is. Yeah.
And
Wish you could teach
how good
that.
they are determines how good your business
I
is.
100% agree.
Unless you're, I'm talking about my business. I'm not talking about anybody else's business because I don't know other businesses. My
Yeah.
business is how good my people. That's how good the business is. I'll give them the tools. I'll give them whatever they need.
Yeah.
In other words, you need a knife. I'll get you the best knife, but you got to work that knife.
Right.
And you're not going to stand behind them and watch them work the knife.
No, I'm busy. I'm busy creating crazy shit like the basement and stuff. I have no time looking over there.
We're cleaning the carpets because Mark dumped himself in
Yeah,
pizza
chili.
sauce again. Yeah.
Yeah,
How I miss that.
he's on automatic pilot. He does whatever he does. He's on auto. You could ask him. He's on automatic pilot.
Yeah,
Great
well,
stuff.
I was telling before the show, I was like, that's again one of those cool things about here, where it's like you have that. I was telling them, I was like, I imagine other businesses see the success of what we're doing with this show, right? And they're like, how do we do this? And the answer is, you can't, because most businesses are going to behave that way. We are in a unique position because you understand that the people, and by the way, I know you'll be humble about saying that, like, you only know your business, but I think that is how all businesses should work, right? Where like the people are what build your product ultimately, right?
Yeah, well, you have one or two stores you could do that with, but when you have chains and stuff,
It's
can't-
impossible, right?
They can't let these people like we run all over the
Exactly.
damn place. They would be out of business,
Right.
This one, that one. Are just, so with a couple stores, we could do that, but it has its.
What do you mean they can't run all over the place?
Well, they have to have checks and balances. You can't have people just making decisions here and there, and everybody
Oh,
making
the freedom
different
you
decisions.
give people.
Right.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You have to have controls. I mean, you have so to their,
Of course, yeah, and I didn't mean that to sound negative towards them. I just think about my previous career. I was talking about a previous hosting job, and I loved the company I worked for before. I had a great time with it, but I now go into it looking like, okay, you've empowered me to know what's the right thing to do, and you've given me all the tools not only to succeed but also to keep myself in check and go, hey, was this episode that I did, was this a stinker? And then also I'm the type to like recognize, okay, this is not the vein we mine next, right? And I think a lot of businesses would lose that in this space and be like, well, yeah, I mean, just speaking from my own experience, usually it was just like, Mark, here's the topics you're talking about. Stay in this box for me. Whereas here, there's no box.
well,
It's
there
like-
is a box. You
right.
just didn't jump out of it yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen the. That's a great way to put it.
There's a box
I have not
here.
seen the walls.
In other words, if I come to work and I see a bunch of people picking this place with signs and they got your name
I'm like,
because something you said,
yeah, right.
yeah, then
what
you
if you
see a
believe-
box.
Hey
What if
guys,
you
can you
believed
go ahead
in
and
what he
cancel?
said?
Yeah,
Can
then
you
see
cancel
a
the
box.
picketing?
You just haven't jumped out of it yet. That's all.
What if you believed in what he said?
Huh?
What if you believed in what he said and they were still picketing? Then what do you do?
Yeah, you got to be careful, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to be careful. We're in the public here, man. 50% says this. You got to be real careful around here. You might say something really innocent, especially now with all these crazy people.
Oh, sure.
I just can't imagine. I says, your mind is so fantastic in what that God's given you that head.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't believe the trivial crap that people spend their mind on.
It's crazy.
Stupid to see some of these letters they write me, and I'm going, You have that much time to sit there and care about that? Why don't you use that thing?
Right.
You got so much potential. I mean, you know, you look at the people like that Musk guy. I mean, oh my God, you come all the way down to little people here that they could do so much, and it's a stupid shit they think about.
It's easy to get into that lane, I think.
Well,
I
it's
think
the
that's
negativity, right?
right.
I mean,
Yeah, it's like it's so easy. Yeah, because the thing is, they probably don't have that time.
Yeah,
but it's like
it's a
choosing to
shame,
waste
'cause
it. I agree.
They're wasting such a thing that you have to go and do things with.
You know what I think about? I think about like what when I read comments from those kinds of people, and I know this is a really blanket statement. This is how I get the picketers here. But I think about them like, because they're not using their like talents and gifts and their brain, if just to be blunt about it, like how many did we miss the cure for cancer along the way? Like somebody wrote a 1-star review and they're like, I watched people shuck corn in your store today, sir. But I'm like, you could have used all that effort to do something, I don't know, at least cool or fun or interesting or, you know?
Yeah.
You ever heard of a guy named Jordan Peterson?
Yeah, I've heard of him before.
You listen to him? I think he's the brightest mind in the world right now.
He's
talks
a professor,
lot about
right?
this.
Like,
he
and
was
he's
a professor.
podcaster.
He was a professor at Harvard. His name's Jordan Peterson, and now he's basically an influencer. But he's taking his. He's taking his. Yeah, he's taking his. He's brilliant. I think he's
very articulate.
Very articulate, and he is a. He was a professor of
Toronto.
but
Psychology.
physiology.
Yep.
You know, and so he talks about the what actually triggers the brain to do different things. And the guy's brilliant, but he talks about stuff like that. And it's like, you talk about taking some of what he's teaching into business.
Yeah.
And it's like, or anywhere. He's fascinating. He's a guy to listen to.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's like what you're saying. You basically have an anchor to help you guide your decision making.
Yeah.
And a lot of places don't like Jungle being the anchor. Like you kind of you have a big box, but you know using that decision filter, you're able to kind of create without resistance.
Yeah.
Right.
I see, you know what I see a little bit? And he just told the story. I'm like, now I see myself as the kid with the cardboard leftovers cutting out and making something fun out of it, right?
Yeah.
You know?
You're going to fly up to the clouds and Candyland to be
If
up
that
there.
was an option, I would be in a helicopter. I'd be like, sorry, guys, I got some shit I got to do in a helicopter. Yeah, it's like, come on, Candy in the Clouds. That's two of my favorite things.
It's amazing.
My head's in there all the time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
So what else you got?
I think that's good. I want to respect your guys' time. I mean, we've gone an hour. I appreciate you being on the podcast. I think there's been a lot of value for sure. And it's been really fun.